Okay, all yours, Sander, all yours.
Well, yeah, okay. So what we do for zero-touch provisioning with NetEase, let me explain first what we do right now with the one-touch provisioning
Yeah,
and what information we need available to know and to register
yeah,
in order to provide zero-touch provisioning.
yeah,
So as you see within the picture, there's two parts. One part is the zero-touch, the other part is the one-touch. So in the top left, you will see our NetEase server.
yeah,
And in that server, we have a build of a network element already,
yeah,
containing templates and being able to create a full configuration for that switch.
yeah,
We have a TFTP server running,
yeah,
and we know what type of switch we want and what switch we want to build in the field, because we just build it as planned within the build database. So we do have a host name.
yeah,
If the switch that we send out is not really zero-touch applicable, we will put a pre-configuration on it, telling it that one of the ports will need to have DHCP.
yeah,
So in order, when we connect it to the network, it will try and get an IP address.
right.
So when we bring it to the location, we know what host name it will get, and we will connect it to the network. And with DHCP, it will receive an IP address from the DHCP server.
Mm-hmm.
And since this is not zero touch, there will be no other options delivered by the DHCP server than the IP address and mask.
Yeah.
So when the IP address is registered, engineer on location will log into the CLI on the device and will put a TFTP GET with a NetEase server address in it, and then the host name that he has, and request it from the NetEase server. NetEase will look into its TFTP drive and we'll see that there is no configuration yet for this host name, but he knows it's within the build database, so it builds the configuration from scratch from the templates and sends it out to the device.
Correct.
And then the engineer on the location will put it into the startup and reload the device, and all is up and running.
Yeah, got you.
So what we need to do for zero touch, it's quite similar, but zero touch is that the devices are already pre-configured to put out DHCP requests by their management ports mostly.
Yeah, right. Absolutely right.
And so when connecting a switch or when sending out a switch, what we need to know is either its serial number or its MAC address, depending on what it sends out after it had got offered a IP address. And that MAC or serial number we need to register within NetEase on the same host name that we want to give the configuration for that device.
Yeah.
So we need to have some kind of registration on this MAC is supposed to be getting this host name.
Yeah.
So when connecting the zero touch device,
interrupt?
Yes.
So in short, in NetEase, we'll have some custom attributes at node level, which
Correct.
might be MAC address or the serial number or both.
Correct.
Okay, keep going.
Yeah. Indeed, with the custom variables, we can just put it in, and it's available for every node in the database.
Right.
So whenever the device is connected to the network, it will again send out a discover. The upper layer switch will see it as a DHCP request and will send it out to the DHCP server, which then, of course, will say, okay, you come from this network. This is the IP address I have for you. This is my offer. So the switch receives that, sends out the request, okay, reserve that IP address for me. And then with the acknowledgement, the DHCP server will acknowledge that that address has been reserved for him, and he will send out some extra options that were in there. And the extra options we need to deliver, we need to figure out what the type of switch needs. So for a telephone, for instance, it's option 150. For an access point, it's option 43.
Yeah.
I believe with the iOS XR that you just showed me the other week, it was something like 69 or so.
69.
So whatever option floats the boat for that type of switch needs to be registered within the DHCP server, and that needs to tell the switch, this is your well, let's call it TFTP server, but that depends on, of course, what type of message the switch will send out in order to retrieve its configuration.
Right. Got you.
Well, let's call it TFTP.
Yeah.
Because that's probably the easy part.
Yeah.
So if it is TFTP, the switch will receive that information, and after receiving the acknowledgement, it will send out a message to that TFTP server telling it, okay, I've been told you have a configuration for me, please give it to me. This is my MAC or serial number.
Right.
So we need to know what it sends out.
Yeah.
Is it the MAC, is it the serial number, or is it both?
Yeah.
And we need to know how it sends it out. Is it by TFTP? Is it by HTTP? So is there an API call? Is it by iPXE as with the iOS XR? Or maybe something like SFTP or whatever?
Sure. But tell me one thing, how does, once the switch does a TFTP get to the NetIce server, how does NetIce know that it needs to send out the hostname.cfg file? Does it do an internal lookup on the serial number or on the host name or the MAC address to figure out?
That's the one thing we need to implement within NetIce to really fully provision that zero touch. So we need to have something in place that if it's not a host name, it needs to be looking up for a MAC address or serial number registered somewhere within a database.
Got you loud and clear. So what I'll do is for this switch, I'll at least ensure that it does a host name lookup. So what I'll do is the DHCP server that I'm configuring within NetIce VM, I will ensure that it gets a host name that I want it to get. Lovely. So I got you loud and clear. What I'll do is once I figure out what it sends out in the get, I'll fix it and create a config file in the build to match that. So loud and clear, no problems. Yeah.
And there's one other thing. I've just been reading on a paper on these 2960. VLAN 1, of course, has to be open.
Yeah. Okay. So this is going to be a connected switch to the cross cable to my laptop. So I'll have that VLAN 1. Can you please paste that URL onto our WhatsApp? I'll read it out.
That's what I was just going to do. Very good.
Sure. So no further questions from my end, Sander, at least for now. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, Sander, this is Chenthal. Probably, I'm not sure, maybe Dharmesh can find out whether they need any staging facility also. Dharmesh, please find out whether they need platform to help them in the pre-configuring stage.
Well, if it's really ZTP, which the C2960 is,
correct.
That is what is running on the box. As soon as it's operating, it will go for like 30 seconds or so. It will try and find the DHCP address.
Right. So in short, Chenthalji, these modern Cisco switches and routers don't need a concept like staging. They themselves are built in the firmware such that it boots up and it goes and checks for DHCP. And from there on, the zero-touch provisioning workflow starts. So staging concept is no more needed.
Okay. I thought that, maybe staging also would require. Okay, I got it.
Chantal, that's your point is correct for, I think, all the switches that do not have ZTP already programmed in them.
Yeah.
So if any customer is sending out a bit older switches into the field that do not do ZTP from scratch, they will need a pre-staging.
Okay, thanks, Sander. So I was just thinking, probably they might ask for that.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm clear on it.
And there could be one other thing. Your point could be valid if, and which is of course a common practice, VLAN 1 is shut down in all the network, because ZTP does run on VLAN 1 and your common practice is to shut it down.
Correct.
So if that is shut down in the full network, you don't want to operate it within your network. In that case, you would like to stage it with a DHCP service, so that DHCP requesting port, so that you can put it in any VLAN that you would like.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does it work at Rabobank? Which switches as of today are configured to work with NetIce even for one touch or zero touch?
Well, those are all HP devices now.
Okay.
These are HPE CommWare 5 and CommWare 7 devices, and they are all pre-staged. So this is all one touch at this point.
Okay. Okay. No problems. Loud
Yeah.
and clear. Yeah, understood. Sure.
Very good.
Cool.
Good luck doing so.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ramesh.
Sure. So
Okay.
I'll stop recording now. Thanks. Sundar.
Thanks. Bye.